welcome to the final video that accompanies the Crazy Christmas Squares Cal. In this video I want to show you how to join the squares and discuss various ways of creating a border. The first thing you want to do is decide on the order of the squares. You can use the tiny example tiles that are provided in the introduction document, just cut them and move them about. Once you've decided in which order you want to place them, then a suggestion is to use stitch markers or some spare yarn to temporarily join them together so you don't get confused. I have my two squares and now I want to join them together. I like to do my verticals first and then do my horizontals, but it's entirely up to you. Let's start by putting a slip knot on the hook and chain one. Now we're going to work into these corner chains. Now I did 2 corner chains, so I'm going to work into the inner loop of these corner chains. So just the one that's closest to the design. So this one goes with that side and this one goes with this side. I'm going to keep the yarn underneath the squares, underneath the work, and I'm going to go into the inner loop of the one on the right and the inner loop of the one on the left. If you're left-handed, it will probably be the other way around. Then I'm going to pull a loop through each. The temptation is to yank your hook through, but don't do that because you want a nice loosish surface chain so that everything lies flatly. So through that one, through each of the loops. The next one. So if you do have a yarn that splits, take it very slowly, go through each loop separately. If you find that you are pulling this up too tightly, just use a larger hook to do this. I am making a meal of this. It's actually easier once you come to do it on your own thing. So let's show you. Let's get some rhythm going. This gives you a nice flat join. You can do whatever join you want. Let me continue on to the end and I can show you what to do when you get to the end here. I've reached the end and I'm going to do my last stitch into those first corner chains. Now I want to continue on, so I have my next pair of squares joined together ready, and I'm going to simply continue doing exactly what I did with these first ones, going into those corner chains and working my way up. Then I'm going to join the next couple on top of that. When I get to the end, I'm going to chain one, cut my yarn and leave a tail long enough to darn in. Let me show you how to continue. I'm going into this inner stitch, inner loop of the corner chain and the inner loop of that corner chain. And a loop. You can see how it joins those pairs of squares together quite neatly. So continue on up to the end of these next pair, join the next pair, and I'll meet you at the end of that. If you find that you have not matched up your stitches, so I seem to have an extra one here and not here, so there's my 2 chain and there's my 2 chain there, just make a stitch into the same place. So I want to get rid of this one, so I'm going to do it into that same place. You honestly won't notice. I've reached the end. Just going to cut my yarn with the tail long enough to darn in and just chain. I've joined all my verticals together. I have some gaps here that I now need to join. I'm going to show you how to do the horizontals now. Make sure that you join the sides to the sides and that your motifs are the right way up. It's really easy to get that wrong. We start the horizontals in the same way by making a slip knot and a chain. We're going to work into the corner chains and the inside loops as before. Let me do that and I'll show you what to do when we get to this crossing point. I'm getting close to the join. Now there's a fiddle factor about 9 out of 10 here because I've still got my yarn underneath. I've got to keep my hand underneath, but somehow I've got to grab the work at the same time. I can feel the yarn underneath. Don't pull it too tight here. So let me loosen it up underneath a bit. I'm going to carry on to the last stitch, pull on those stitches so you can get through them. You should be able to see I've just got the corner chains to work. I'm going to work those. I know it does look fiddly. Again, pull that stitch out if you're finding it difficult to find. You could use stitch markers and pull on those. There it is. So I can feel underneath. I'm going to pull it through. I somehow need to get from this side to this side. Here's my next stitch. Pull this out and you can see the other inner loop. The other inner loop on that side. To leap across here, I'm going to chain. Again, keep your yarn underneath and chain. Now, do what you've been doing all along, which is working into that corner chain. There it is. There it is. Down that into that one, down into that one, and chain. I'll pull a loop through, I should say. Carry on. As normal. Work all the way along. Jump over when you come to the next join with your chain 1. And when you get to the end, you're going to cut the yarn with enough to darn in, chain 1, and that's that horizontal finished. Do the other horizontal, and then we're ready to do the border. You can make whatever border you want. On this purple blanket, because I've only got one small join here, I'm not going to use white, I'm going to use the purple. But the first round of this version is the same as the red version. I'm going to start in a bottom corner, and I've made a slip knot and chain 1 onto my hook. and I'm going to start close to this bottom corner. I'm going to be doing single crochets into the back loops. When you reach a corner, if you've only got one chain, do single crochet, chain one, single crochet into the one back loop. I've got two, so I'm going to do a single crochet, chain one, and a single crochet into the other back loop of the subsequent chain. I'm going to continue on with single crochets into the back loop of all stitches, and then it's up to you. You can do a single crochet into the join. I quite like to do that. I don't darn my ends in at this point, I leave them in till the end. And then I will carry on in the back loop. If you feel this bit here dips down too much, then do a half double crochet into the space instead. In fact, you can do any stitch you want. You might want to do a double. At this point you can do whatever you like. You could do just a white border, you could do stripes, you could do anything. In the red version of the blanket I did an inner border, which meant I had two sections here when I came to join them together, which meant I wanted to mimic that around the edge. So after I'd done my single crochet into the back loop, I then did another set of single crochet and then a double crochet on top. It's all in the pattern, but I just wanted to show you the variation. On the purple version I don't have that, so I don't want to mimic a white border. I'm just going to go straight in to the purple. I'm going to start by making two chain, which does count as a stitch, and then I'm going to half double crochet into both loops to the corner. There's my chain one space. Now you might want to have marked that. In my chain one space I'm going to work 2 half double crochet, chain one, 2 half double crochet. If you prefer, you can work 2 chain instead of 1 chain. I'm now going to do a couple of rounds of half double crochet and I'll meet you back just to show you what I do on the edge. I've done my 2 rounds of half double crochet and then I've swapped to white, and I'm going to do single crochet into the back loop. But before I go on to the next stitch, I'm going to rotate my hook round and then make my next stitch. So let me show you again. Rotate it towards the back of the work and then make your next stitch. Now I have no idea what this is called, but I quite like this. It's a very subtle texture to the edge. So the red one is just the usual single crochet into back loop. Here's the variation. It gives a knobbly effect to the edge. When you come to do a corner, do your single crochet with a twist, chain one with a twist, and single crochet into the same space with a twist. Maybe that's what it's called, a single crochet with a twist. I'm going to call it a single crochet with a twist. I just continue on all the way round, slip stitch into the first stitch to close the round, darn in all of those ends, embellish it as you want, and there's your Crazy Christmas squares. Thank you for watching the video, and I hope you've enjoyed making this cowl. And don't forget to share your CraftPixie makes in the CraftPixie Crochet Club on Facebook, and like and subscribe to the channel if you found this useful. I'll see you again next time.